online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into college football game day here at 93.7 The Ticket. It's Saturday. It's a snowy one here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Not Ticket Weeknights. We got Ticket Weekends. And we have a few college football games on today. But I think the more important things are all else that is going on in college football. What's right with college football right now? What's wrong? We got some opt-outs. We have a lot of drama in Ann Arbor. And we got a whole bunch of coaches. And we have the Heisman candidates are in New York to see who wins that award. We'll get into that. Who is most deserving of it? Feel free to text in at 402-464-5685. Would love to hear whatever your thoughts are on college football. What do you think's right? What could college football do better? What's the NCAA missing out on? Because in my opinion, I think there's a lot, but it's to a point where you're not sure if they're going to be able to fix it. You know, with NIL and the transfer portal and this coaching carousel and, you know, kids committing to 8 different schools before they even end up on campus. There's a lot going on. So with that being said, we're going to get into it and talk a little bit about it all. To start, I think we just need to start with Michigan. Everyone knows about Sharon Moore and what went on there with the inappropriate relationship he had with a staff member, but following that, he ends up going to her house and threatening not only her, but himself, ends up getting arrested. Just an unbelievable 24 hours. Whenever I think that I have had a bad day, at least I didn't get fired from my job where I was making $1 million a year, ruin my marriage, and end up in jail in the same day. So I'll take that as a little victory. Be grateful if you haven't had that happen to you, because that is one awful day. But I think what's even crazier is the world keeps going. The world keeps going when it comes to what's next for Michigan. You have recruits who already signed their national letter of intent just a week prior, then said, we're coming to the University of Michigan. We're coming to play for Sharon Moore. And now he's gone. You have Big Poggy, who is now the interim head coach for now. Not sure if he's going to be the guy moving forward. I think they're going to go elsewhere. But Kenny Dillingham from Arizona State said it perfectly last season. It's not so much about recruiting these days. It's about retaining. You, with the transfer portal and with NIL, it's very common for student athletes to recognize that they might have a better opportunity elsewhere, not only playing wise, but financially. And so let's say a player in the Big 12 playing for Kenny Dillingham has an unbelievable season. Sam Levitt, for example, their quarterback, is planning on entering the transfer portal. And you have SEC or a Big 10 school that is calling your name saying, we're going to offer you this much money. And it's probably $500,000 at least more than Arizona State can offer you. That's appealing to many student athletes. But back to Michigan. Now you have the university has a lot on their hands. One, because they're dealing with Sharon Moore. What's going to come from that? And then following that, okay, now we need a new head coach. More importantly, we need players that are going to be playing in the 2026 season, and we have a bowl game coming up. They're playing Texas. So this isn't just a cakewalk bowl game or, all right, we have plenty of time to deal with this. They have an interim head coach ready to go in Biff Poggi for the bowl game against Texas. But then how do you retain your players? You have Bryce Underwood, who is a 5-star quarterback, who Dave Portnoy was paying millions of dollars for him to end up to be a Wolverine playing in Ann Arbor. And now we're not sure if he's going to stay because he's a 5-star. He has no buyout to his contract. So in NIL, many universities now, if they're offering a lot of money to a big-time recruit, they'll say, okay, if you want to go elsewhere, that's totally fine. But that school is going to have to pay out. They're going to have to buy out how much we're expected to pay you. That is not the case for Bryce Underwood. So whatever in the contract, in the NIL contract that Michigan offered Bryce Underwood, that's what's going to be paid to him. So it's crazy because last I checked, there was something about at least it's $10 million plus is what they were expecting to give Bryce Underwood for him to end up uh, at Michigan. And he played this season. He's playing for the in the bowl game, but then the transfer portal's opening. Is he staying? I mean, he is the face of Michigan football right now, but you just lost your head coach. There's a lot of drama in the Michigan athletic staff right now, and you just want to play football. You reason you went to Michigan is because it's a top tier program. You didn't come for all this extra schematics and everything else that's going on. You came to play football. So with that being said, Michigan's got a lot on their plate, and I'm not sure how they're going to handle it. They are there's a few coaches that's names have popped into the conversation. One of them being Jed Fish from Washington, who earlier this season stated that him and his wife are not happy in Seattle. They're Jed Fish left Arizona once Kalen DeBoer left Washington. He got the head coaching job at Washington for the Huskies, and then on it was unsure. Is this the guy? You hire a guy to come coach in the Big Ten, was Washington was just joining the Big Ten, and you have no clue if this is your guy. So the one unfortunate thing is that Michigan, if they go with Jed Fish, I'm not sure he's done enough for Michigan to really want him at the University of Michigan because he coached at Washington, came after Kalen DeBoer, after Washington made it to the national championship with Michael Penix and Romo Dunze. Jed Fish comes in, not a great first season in the Big Ten, and then here's another season that they have not had the season that they expected. Had won a few games. They're bowl eligible. They are playing tonight against Boise State, which will be a fun bowl game to watch. So Jed Fish, one of the names in the hat. Another one, Kenny Dillingham, who we spoke about earlier from Arizona State. I think he's done a tremendous job in his first season at Arizona State. He made it to the college football playoff and led Arizona State to one of the best games of all of last season against Texas. I think no one gave them a shot, and Cam Scatterbo and Sam Levitt were leading them to the final minutes of that game, and it was a toss-up on who was going to end up on top. So Kenny Dillingham is another one of them. One that I don't think is going to happen, but I think Michigan needs to reach out to is Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer stated that he wanted to coach at Michigan. Michigan was the place that he wanted to be prior to ending up at Alabama. But the Jim Harbaugh decision for Jim Harbaugh to leave to the NFL was not made yet. And so Kalen DeBoer said, okay, I'm not sure what's going on here. Alabama's offering. When Alabama offers you, it's hard to say no. So he ends up at Alabama, and he's coaching the college football playoff. But Michigan was where he wanted to end up. So you have no clue if Kalen DeBoer is still thinking that. Maybe he's going, yeah, Michigan's the place I want to be. Leaving Alabama, though, on your own seems a little crazy, especially when you've had such iconic coaches there and Bear Bryant and Nick Saban, two of the greatest coaches of all time. Nick Saban, I would argue, is the best coach of all time. Tom Osborne up there as well. So you have a few candidates out there who are currently college football coaches for other schools that could possibly make it in to the race and who they're going to end up interviewing. The tough thing about the college football carousel, though, is let's say Jed Fish leaves. That puts Washington in a hole, and they're playing a bowl game tonight, and then they might lose their head coach tomorrow. And then Washington's searching for a head coach. And then let's say another coach comes from another school, a Mountain West school, wherever. They become the head coach of Washington, and they're out of a coaching position. So it just continues to go and go and go. And it makes it so tough for these schools. And that's why I'm not always a huge fan of the firing midseason, because those players, they committed to play for that head coach. And although some of them I don't think are great, Brian Kelly, for example, he's one that didn't seem to have his players set up for success, nor do I think his players really loved playing for him. We've heard a lot of stories about he only really cared about their performance on the field and nothing outside of that, which I think is crushing. I think in this day and age, as a coach, it's your job to instill as much confidence into your players as possible. But I also think it's just being there for them when they need it in every aspect of life. These are 18 to 22-year-old. Now we got 25-year-olds, whatever, student athletes who are playing, and they need guidance. It's tough when you're juggling school, football, trying to have a social life. There's so much that's going on. And if you don't have a head coach that's there for you or a coaching staff that can help you outside of the game of football, I don't think that school is going to have much success. Back to coaches getting fired in the middle of the season. It's tough to respond from it for sure. LSU, I don't think did a great job of responding to it. They won a few games down the stretch, but it's hard. Arkansas went through the same thing, the firing of their head coach. And then it starts rumors with other schools. Lane Kiffin, he ends up at LSU. But I think midway through the season, people were talking about that. Billy Napier at Florida, another one. The thing that is good for these schools about firing in the middle of the season is they can hire an interim head coach, but then their search for a coach comes way sooner. And so they can get who they want. Michigan, I bet, would have been in the talks with Lane Kiffin about him uh, coaching in the big house. But Michigan didn't expect to fire their head coach, but let's say they did. Lane Kiffin's in that conversation. Now there's no shot you get Lane Kiffin. Now you're searching for other head coaches, maybe not the top tier head coaches that you were hoping to have. I think Jed Fish is a good head coach. He was tremendous at Arizona. Is he a guy that's going to go beat Ohio State? I'll be honest, I don't think so. I think you really need a head coach who has played in big football games and we've seen them have a little bit of success for you to say, okay, this is the guy that we can trust. Jed Fish at Washington, I'm not sure if he's built a big enough resume for them to really want him. And from what I heard from the players, I think the players were a fan of Sharon Moore. I think they thought this was a guy that I enjoy playing for. I think he gets the most out of us. But now you're out. So now Michigan stuck in a hole. Who's our head coach going to be? Who's leaving? Who's staying? Do these recruits still want to come here? I think you got to make a decision quick because I think you need to have a coach who comes in right away, sets the standard of what Michigan's identity is going to be after all this, but then also a coach who can come in, have the conversations with the players who are currently on the team and say, hey, we want you back. We want to make sure that this is a place that you want to play. You want to wear the maize and blue. The longer you wait, I think the more players are going, I'm uncertain about my future here. I'm not sure what's going to happen. They're going to start leaving. It doesn't set Michigan up well for 2026. Other coaching changes that I thought were interesting is Matt Campbell goes to Penn State. I think looking back at it, Penn State regrets their decision. I could be totally wrong. Maybe they were so done with James Franklin and they thought, he's not our guy. We'll get rid of him. We're going to find someone better. But then you hire Matt Campbell from Iowa State, who has had 2 or 3 9-3 seasons and also hasn't really dominated in the big game. The reason I think they got rid of James Franklin is because not because they were not getting to the top, it was because they were at the top, but they were never winning the big ones, which is totally understandable. But if you're going to fire James Franklin, in your head, I think you have to have a guy that goes, all right, who are we hiring that does win the big game? And have we been in contact with them? Do we know this is an opportunity? But I think that Penn State just said, oh, we were supposed to be the best team in the country this year. We opened up in the top 5. We were number 2 to open up the season. We lose to Oregon and the wheels fall off. So not only are we not winning the big games, we're losing other games on top of it. James Franklin, you're out of here. And that's that. We're going to find someone better. And now we've seen James Franklin ended up at Virginia Tech. And kudos to him for the recruiting class that he's brought in, for him reaching out to those student athletes who are committed to Penn State that he was recruiting and said, hey, we want you here. I'm going to give you the opportunities that I said I would at Penn State. You're just going to be playing for the Hokies instead. And a lot of those 4 stars, 5 stars said, yeah, let's do it. You're the guy I want to play for. Well, I have no clue who this Penn State guy I'm going to end up playing for is. So I think Penn State's kicking themselves in the shin right now a little bit, going, what were we thinking? But we'll see how Matt Campbell responds. I think he's a good head coach. One thing that did frustrate me, though, is a lot of his players said that they found out from social media that he was leaving, which I never think is the best way to do things. Not at all, really. I think that's a terrible way to go about it. These kids committed to you as a head coach to lead their future, to set them up for success in the game of football, but also outside the field. And Matt Campbell just said, all right, I'm out of here. And these players said, okay, now I have no clue what's going on for my future, which is super unfortunate for them. But that's another one of those just kind of coaching carousel moments that you just hate to see. Not, I understand for the coaches, you want to go to a bigger school. You want to make more money. Sure, you want to get to a point where you're at a school that you think you can win a national championship at, because that's the goal, is to win a national championship. Does Penn State probably have a better opportunity than Iowa State? I would say so. So he makes the decision, and then it just leaves a hole for these players, which that's why I think a lot of people, let's get into it. The NIL and the transfer portal these days, another thing that is a huge question mark in college football. With the transfer portal, I think a lot of fans were upset because back in the day, you would have a guy show up on campus as a freshman. Maybe he doesn't play, maybe he redshirts, maybe he does play. But I'm going to be a fan of this guy for the next 3 years, 4 years, if he doesn't get drafted, maybe even 5. And I can root this guy on, and we're going to be there to support him. And he's our guy. He's the face of our university. Now, a lot of these schools, you have a guy that has an unbelievable season. Next thing they're thinking is, okay, where can I go get the paycheck? And I think a lot of people were upset with that because they're like, NIL, I think, is a great way to help these players financially. They probably don't have time for a job, but they can actually make some money on the side. I didn't think it was going to end up being millions and millions of dollars. But the transfer portal, it's players looking for better opportunities. It's them looking to set themselves up for the future to maybe make a little more income. And so I don't think we can hate on players nowadays for all that's going on in the transfer portal and with NIL because the coaches are doing the same, right? You commit to a coach and you play for him for 1 year. The next day, he's gone. And then you're set up saying, okay, well, I have no clue what's going to happen in my future. So I understand the NIL and I understand the transfer portal. And I think if you're going to bash one, you have to bash all. If you're going to bash the coaches for leaving, bash them. But you can't just say the players are doing it wrong. This is terrible. There's no school spirit in that. It's hard to get behind a guy who you think is just going to leave in a year. That's the same thing for coaches. So I think they just even the playing field because coaches have been doing this forever. And players have kind of just been stuck going, okay, well, if I want to leave, I got to sit out a year. Now they have their opportunity. Okay, my coach left. I'm not sure what's happening for me here. I know this other school wants me. They're interested. There's an opportunity. I'm going to go there. I think it works out for everyone in this scenario. I think it is just frustrating when maybe you're a smaller school, maybe a Mountain West school, who you recruit a guy who was under recruited, didn't have many opportunities out of high school. They bring you in. Nevada coach had a great conversation about this, is how his recruiting tactic is I'll bring you in and we're going to develop you so that you can pretty much go somewhere else if you would like. If you would like to get on a bigger stage, we're going to get you ready for that. It's unfortunate because you want those guys to be in uniform for 4 years. But I think that's a great recruiting tactic. Is almost like, yeah, you come here, we're going to develop you, we're going to win football games here. And then if it's better off for your future to head somewhere else, head to the Big 10, the Big 12, anything, go for it. We're rooting for you. We're supporting you. But first, we got to get you on campus. We got to give you an opportunity. And the best way to get better at football is playing football. And I think that's a great way to go about it is where Boise State, where Nevada, where UNLV. We're probably not going to get the best recruits in the country. We're going to get guys that we can develop for 2-3 years. If they want to head to Ohio State, they want to head to Oregon, go for it. But it's tough these days because there's so much going on. And I think the NCAA just let this get way out of hand before they had any opportunity to fix it. They said, yeah, players can get played. They can sign NIL contracts so we can have companies that endorse them and sponsor them. Little did we know it was just going to become an auction war out here, just a bidding contest as Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, all these SEC schools, Oregon, they hop into the mix and they go, okay, well, let me open up my checkbook. This is a player I want. How much do you want? How much is Ohio State offering? Oh, they're offering 1.5. All right, I'll offer you 1.7. Oh, they're offering you 1.9. Well, here, I'll give you 2. And it's just a game of checkbooks, and which I makes it so tough for Nebraska, who has a great fan base, has great boosters. But on 24/7 Sports, you can look at how much the average NIL is for each player on a team. So for Ohio State, the average NIL money that a player gets is like 250,000. I think that's in a year. I could be wrong. That could be in 4 years. Either way, unbelievable. I think Nebraska's around 50,000 a year per player. how are you supposed to compete when there's a $200,000 difference? So I think that's the one thing that NCAA got wrong is, okay, they didn't want this to turn into a bidding war. When I played at the University of Portland, played baseball there, it was, oh, I can get paid a little bit for posting a little picture on Instagram and I get $100. Sweet. I'll do that. I did not expect it to be quarterbacks, five-star quarterbacks are getting millions and millions of dollars the second they step on campus, and all these other big schools are doing the same for them. So there's a lot else to talk about in college football, which we will get into here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's college football game day. We'll get into the games that we have on slate for today. We'll talk about some of the bowl games as well and the college football playoffs to look ahead to who do I expect to come out of the first round of the college football playoffs and as well as the quarterfinals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
A veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
This holiday season, bring home a tradition that tastes like celebration. Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake, baked in the heart of Nebraska with rich, golden batter, real cherries, pineapple, crunchy nuts, and a splash of old-fashioned goodness. It's moist, flavorful, and crafted the same way for generations. It's the fruitcake that turns skeptics into believers. Find Beatrice Bakery fruitcake online at grandmasbakeshop.com or at your favorite retailer, and make your holidays deliciously unforgettable with the help of Beatrice Bakery's world-famous fruitcake.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
All ticketing options for the 2026 Love Nebraska season are now available. Single match tickets start as low as $16, even cheaper if you want to bring a group. Don't miss your chance to see professional stars like Jordan Larson and Lexi Rodriguez in action this season. Purchase your preferred ticketing option today by visiting lovneb.com/tickets.
I'm Terrell Farley, host of Bach in the Black Shirt Show at 1 to 3 weekdays. And my favorite thing to do, see, or go to in downtown Lincoln is the food, because they have great selections of food, and Buzzard Billy's with the great alligator they have down there.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
When equipment breaks down and operations come to a halt, every single second counts. So why is your maintenance team spending 60% of their time doing anything but turning wrenches? MaintainX is the AI-powered maintenance and asset management system that helps your team get back to actually fixing breakdowns. No more searching for manuals, no more hunting down parts, no more drowning in paperwork. With MaintainX, your team can access manuals from anywhere, create new procedures in minutes, and turn voice notes into clear and complete work order feedback. What used to take hours now only takes minutes. Keep your operations moving, not your paperwork. Join over 11,000 maintenance teams that are already fixing more and filing less. Try MaintainX for free today. Go to maintainx.com/AI. That's maintain and the letter x.com/AI.
Load up on meat and more this holiday season at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. Keep your eyes posted to the Mercado's social media pages for specific daily deals from now all the way through New Year's Eve on December 31st. Don't forget their other locations, now open at 30th and Yankee Hill and 84th and Old Cheney in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Is your furnace ready for winter? Call Bryant to perform a thorough check for comfort and peace of mind. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. Whatever it takes.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in to College Football Game Day here on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Tristan Gomez. We're just talking all college football. We got a few games today that we'll get into. But to start, I want to talk about the college football playoff. We'll talk about the matchups, but also if there need to be changes moving forward. First, let's go over the matchups. First round, we have James Madison as the 12th seed. They head to Eugene to take on the Ducks. I think this is a very favorable matchup for the Ducks. I think they're going to pull this one out with ease, and I think it'll be a good game that they need after they didn't play in the Big Ten Championship. So they've had a few weeks off already. So they've rested up. They'll prepare for that James Madison game. Hopefully, they take care of business. I think these are games that can maybe be slept on because you get in the college football playoff and you go, okay, I need to lock in for Texas Tech. Who are we going to play next? If we win this one, there should be no, if we win this one, it's all right, let's go win this one. And once we do that, then we can talk about Texas Tech. For Oregon, though, I expect them to take care of business in this one. I don't think it's going to be a problem by any means. But there's so much. It's just interesting that James Madison makes it in over Notre Dame, which we will get into. But outside of that, we got James Madison taking on Oregon and Eugene. That's December 20th at 7:30 Eastern. That'll be a fun night game in Eugene. I don't think there's going to be an atmosphere. I don't think there has been an atmosphere in Autzen Stadium like that. I'm an Oregon homer. Dad's side of the family from Oregon. Girlfriend went to the University of Oregon. So I'm rooting for the Ducks in that one. I hope they take care of business. Next up, we have Alabama. We got the Crimson Tide taking on the Sooners of Oklahoma. That's December 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern. That'll be a good one. Oklahoma got the best of them early in the season. That was in Tuscaloosa. Now Oklahoma gets to host them at home. This is a game I'm up in the air about. I have no clue who is going to win this one. I think it's going to be who shows up. And in these SEC matchups or just big game matchups, I don't think it's so much on a quarterback going to win the game. But I think it's more about which quarterback can manage the game best, make the least amount of mistakes, and set their team up for a win. I think quarterbacks lose in these types of games. They lose more games for their team than they do go win them, because you have a whole team. You have the defense. If you're a quarterback throwing interceptions, not taking care of the ball, setting your defense up in tough situations, it's really hard to win those ball games. I think it's pretty much, who do you think makes the least amount of mistakes, Ty Simpson or John Mateer? John Mateer was a Heisman favorite very early on the season before his injury and before that tough Texas game. But with that being said, I think I'm going to take the Sooners. I think that place is going to be booming. It's going to be a tough environment for Alabama to come in. And after a tough loss to Georgia, a little bit banged up, Oklahoma coming off some rest, they get the opportunity to just go and prepare for Alabama for weeks, just continue to rest up, get prepared, play at home. I think that's going to be the best matchup in this first round of the college football playoff. If you have another idea, please let me know. Text in at 402-464-5685. Talk about your college football playoff thoughts, but I'm taking Oklahoma in that one. Next, we have the Tulane Green Wave taking on the Ole Miss Rebels. That'll be at Ole Miss, coached by the Ole Miss interim head coach, Lane Kiffin. Fought hard to coach in the playoffs for Ole Miss, and I think Ole Miss wanted absolutely nothing to do with that. I think their thought was, if you're leaving, not only leaving, but leaving to go to the state right next to us, to a rival school in the SEC, we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to put up with that, or also we don't want you being surrounded by these players who we believe might just enter the portal right after you guys get knocked out, or possibly win it all. Don't think they will. Right after you guys get knocked out, and we have to go to you're taking our players to LSU with you. I know that Ole Miss and Tulane played earlier in the season, and Ole Miss won at home 45-10. So we have a rematch of this game that was very one-sided, which is tough to think that, all right, so a team that's in the college football playoff is playing a team that they already lost to by 35, which I just do not think makes any sense whatsoever. And I'm expecting Ole Miss to carry this one out with ease. 3:30 p.m. Eastern, December 20th. Exciting that we have these playoff games. I think it's fun. I love the bowl games. We'll get into the opt-outs. That upsets me, but I love that we have an expanded playoff, so we get more games that lead up to a national champion, and we can watch so much more football. Next, in the last first-round game, we have Miami. The Hurricanes are taking on the Aggies at Texas A&M in College Station on December 20th at noon. This will be a fun one. I think we've seen in Miami's losses that they can struggle, and I think when they get punched in the mouth a little bit, it's tough for them to respond. We saw that against SMU. We saw that against Louisville. And as good as Carson Beck can be, he also has his struggles. In that loss to Louisville, 4 interceptions, and pretty much lost them the game. He set his defense up in bad situations, didn't take care of the ball very well. So it's hard to bounce back from those. I think if Miami wants to win this one, they're going to have to show up to College Station, which is going to be a rowdy environment. They got an expansion on their stadium just a few years ago. It holds a lot of people, and it's going to be loud in Aggie land. And I think Marcel Reed is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I think that he had the opportunity to be a Heisman finalist as well, but did not get that opportunity, but was a Maxwell Award finalist with Julian Sand and Fernando Mendoza. So that's definitely going to be a fun game to watch. I think this Alabama-Oklahoma game is going to be the best one, and I think Miami and A&M will be the second one. Next, let's talk about the teams that get the bye. I think how they set up the byes and the top 4 teams are very deserving of those spots. I think it makes sense that they deserve those spots. I mean, you have Ohio State and Indiana, who played in the Big Ten Championship, both undefeated, and it made sense that the winner of that deserves the 1 seed. Georgia, with losses, they did win the SEC championship. I don't think they deserve to jump Ohio State, so I think it's fitting that Ohio State is the 2 seed. Georgia comes in at the 3 seed as an SEC champ, dominating in that SEC championship. And I think Texas Tech, what they've done all year with the 1 loss at Arizona State, but bounced back and just dominated the Big 12 all year. And BYU, I wholeheartedly believe, was the second best team in that conference, deserved to be in the championship as well. But how Texas Tech took care of them twice really shows how good they are and how that oil money is really paying off for the Red Raiders. We got a text from Thomas and Lincoln. After this fiasco of who's in, does it go to 16 teams next year? Here's my thought. I think the fiasco right now is because of you have the conference champions. You say the top 4 conference champions as well as another group 5 conference champion or best team. So that's why we have Tulane and JMU, and Duke, who is the ACC champion, does not get in. I think that possibly needs to change, because if we're being honest, who do we think has a better shot of winning the national championship? James Madison, Tulane, or Notre Dame? I'm not a Notre Dame fan whatsoever, but I do believe that they deserve to be in over those 2 teams. So I think moving forward, sure, I think having a group 5 team in every year, maybe it makes sense. I mean, we had Cincinnati a few years ago before they were in the Big 12. They played Alabama as one of the top 4 teams. I think Alabama just absolutely put it to them. They stood no shot, but they were undefeated and had an unbelievable season. So I think it makes sense. I think if the committee wants to really do it right, you just have to say, we're going to go with the top 12 teams, possibly add a group 5 team in. I think with NIL nowadays and how much of a difference there is between these big Power 4 schools and these group 5 schools, it's tough to say that there's a competition. It's tough to say that James Madison, please, I hope I'm not wrong with this, James Madison can compete with Oregon. I think it's tough to say that. Even Tulane, they're playing Ole Miss again. They played early in the season, 45-10. I think Notre Dame, Oregon, probably a better matchup. I think Notre Dame, Ole Miss, probably a better matchup. So I don't think that expanding it to 16 teams would really make a difference because then we're going to have the 17, 18. Those are the schools that are going to be complaining, whining, saying we should have got in over this school or we should have gotten over this school. Look at our resume. But also, I think the more teams you add, the less importance there is in each regular season game. If you can, Alabama with 3 losses, they're in the college football playoff. I think that's tough to say. I know they had to play in the SEC championship, so that's added another loss. Otherwise, they would have just been 2-loss team. But if you're adding 16 teams, you're going to get a few 3-loss schools in, which I don't think is right. I think the regular season game should be extremely important. And if I'm being completely honest, not a Texas fan at all, but they play Ohio State week 1. If they don't play Ohio State week 1, they end the season with 2 losses. If they just play some FCS nobody, they end the season with 2 losses. So I think the thing that's tough about that the committee needs to probably make some changes or have some talks about is, okay, so are we penalizing teams for playing top talent? Because if that's the case, every Power 4 school is just going to play some small no-name school in order to get those 3 wins at the beginning of the season. And it's going to make it so much easier for their resume. So I don't think that making it a 16 team is going to really change anything. And I do like the buys. I think teams deserve to have buys if they play extremely well in the regular season. They deserve to have a little bit of a break and set themselves up for a better opportunity, have to win less games to make it to that national championship. If you have thoughts about the 16-team college football playoff, please text in 402-464-5685. It's interesting to see how this bracket played out and the conversations that the committee had to have had. Because I don't believe that Tulane and James Madison, they had great seasons based on their conference, but I don't think it makes a whole bunch of sense for them to be in it when there's better teams. Like, I'm not a Vanderbilt fan. I think they would probably be James Madison and Tulane, right? So there's better teams that should have the opportunity to play for a national championship. Do I think Texas beats Notre Dame on a neutral site? That would be a good game. I'll be honest. I think towards the end of the season, Notre Dame was playing exceptional football, and their 2 losses are to teams that are in the college football playoff. They're to Miami and Texas A&M. They lost to Texas A&M in overtime. So they played the best of the best, and they didn't get in. I think Notre Dame should join a conference. I think that would make it much easier for them to have a say in them getting into the college football playoff. But I'm not sure. And do I think with Bama's schedule, are they in? I'm not sure. How much is it just the name? It's the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're going to be in the college football playoff, whether you like it or not. They played well enough. They made the SEC championship game. The SEC is such a dominant conference as well as the Big Ten that I think if you play well enough to make that conference championship game, then you deserve to be in. Should a team that lost to a 5-7 Florida State team week 1 be in? I don't know. But there's so many questions that I think the committee has to do. And this is the second year of the 12-team college football playoff. They realized they got it wrong last year, as every single school with a bye last year lost. And Oregon, the 1 seed, undefeated season, ended up having to play Ohio State, who I believe was the best team in the country. They had to play them in the second round in the Rose Bowl, and Ohio State just put it to them. I think if you are the 1 seed, you deserve to have the best chance of success of making it to the championship. But there's a lot that needs to be changed, and I think the committee did a good job of fixing that. So I'm hoping they're going to go back after this year, see how it plays out. Let's say, which I think will happen, Oregon puts it to James Madison, Ole Miss puts it to Tulane, and I think that just makes it a no-brainer of like, all right, we need to make these more competitive matchups. I think it's going to help TV viewership. It's going to bring in more money, which is, we know, is the NCAA is all about. We know ESPN and all those TV stations, they're all about the money. So I think they're going to go back, revisit it after this year again. And I think there's definitely going to be changes for 2026, which I hope so. But it's a learning game. I think the playoffs when they were established in 2010 was a great idea. 2014, possibly 2014. And I think that was a great idea for college football. With that being said, we got to take a quick break. We'll put a bow on this thing in the final segment. Maybe talk about who I think has the best opportunity to win the national championship. We'll talk a little bit about Notre Dame opt-outs and how that's going to affect college football in the future. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
What can I get for you?
My mind was racing with all the Raising Cane's chicken finger combos, craveable cane sauce, and ice cold drinks.
Come on, man. Let's go.
It was an impossible decision to make.
How about a box combo? Good. Who's next?
No. I want a Caniac combo with extra cane sauce, no slaw, 2 extra toast, and a half sweet tea, half lemonade.
Now that's an order.
Celebrate the holidays with a classic. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, and family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apples, chili, vegetable, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Hey, honey, can you help me out with some holiday wrapping?
On it! I'm rocking ugly sweaters like a runway king. Jingle bells bling while the sleigh bells ring. Cookies in the oven, smell so divine. Gingerbread beats while I'm dropping this rhyme.
Not that kind of wrap. I need you to wrap these Nebraska Lottery Merry Money Holiday Scratch tickets. They make great gifts.
Got it. Holiday Scratch. There ain't no match because they're fast, fun, and easy, making shopping just breezy.
Never mind.
Top prize odds vary by game.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to college football game day. I don't want to go over or miss out on the games that we got on slate today. We got a few solid matchups going on today. Number one, our military academies. We have Army versus Navy. I think one of the most traditional, iconic games there is ever in college football. It's been going on since 1890. Navy leads the all-time record in that one. Navy started playing, I believe, in 1879, and Army had their first game against Navy in 1890, where Navy put it on Army, I guess, way back then. But that's going to be an exciting one. I love the tradition that goes into it with both teams singing the school's fight song at the end of it, as well as the fun game that they have is 8 students from the Naval Academy and 8 students from the Army Academy pretty much go to the other school for a semester. And once the matchup happens, they meet at center field and they get to finally run back to their original academy, which is going to be awesome. And I think Navy's going to pull this one out. I think Navy is a great team. And I'll be honest, I love the air raid. I love what Mike Leach did at Washington. But I think I'm also a huge fan of the triple option. It's so hard to be perfected nowadays in college football. I don't think it would work probably in a Power 4 type setting, but how well that both teams are able to run that triple option, be under center, go multiple games without not even throwing a single pass, and they just find a way to win it on the ground and just dominate teams on the ground. So now let's talk about the opt-outs. There's a few schools that have opted out, Notre Dame being the most prolific one, as well as K-State and Iowa State. I think for Notre Dame, their thought every single year is we're going to go fight to win a national championship. They were runners-up last year to Ohio State. And I think this year they played a tough schedule at the beginning, probably an easier schedule, a below-average schedule towards the end of the year. But when you open up with Miami and then you take on Texas A&M, 2 teams in the college football playoff, and you lose those ones in very close games, neither of them blowouts, and then you go on to win the rest and continuously just play better football throughout the season, I think that they deserve to be in. Do I like the opt-out? No. I think they're more just trying to prove a point of this is stupid. There's no reason for us to play a bowl game when we should be playing for a national championship. So I understand both sides. It sucks because I think a bowl game is a celebration of the whole season for your school, for your team, all the guys that have played together. It's not going to be the same group of guys playing together ever again. And it's nice to go out on a high note, prep just for one more game. And if you win, you end the season on a high note. And even if you lose, you know that I got to play with my boys for one last time. And I think that means a lot to the players. I bet Notre Dame's players are also on the same side as Marcus Freeman of we deserve to be playing for a national champion. We're not going to play in a little silly bowl game. But I think it's unfortunate. K-State, Iowa State. Iowa State losing their head coach, understandable. But I don't get it. I mean, I guess there's guys that are entering the transfer portal and they're leaving. And so you don't know if they're even going to play. And there's opt-outs of players now preparing for the NFL draft. But I think it's just a great opportunity to play in these bowl games, even if you're not in the college football playoff, just to play with your boys one last time and really just go out and enjoy it, make the most of it. So I think it's unfortunate these teams have opted out, and maybe there needs to be a bigger incentive. All these players have plenty of incentives now; they're getting plenty of money. Maybe a bigger incentive to go and play in a bowl game, and just make the most of that and enjoy one last rodeo with your boys. Now, talking about the college football playoffs again, who really has a shot to win this? I think the top three are going to be, I think, Ohio State. I'm going to take Ohio State as who I think is going to win. Unfortunately, I think they're going to go back to back. We saw Ryan Day, how he responded last year after a Michigan loss, not playing the Big Ten championship, goes on to just be dominant in the college football playoff, make their way to the national championship, and it seemed like no one was going to even step foot in their way. Next, I think Indiana has the top spot. I think Kurt Cignetti always has his guys ready and firing on all cylinders, and that's one of the best run defenses I've ever seen, and their defense is just phenomenal. They're going to take on – they have a tough second-round matchup, though, as they're taking on Alabama or Oklahoma, which will be a big game in the Rose Bowl, which will be exciting to see. So I got them. And then Georgia, I think Georgia, Ohio State, I think they're going to end up playing in that semifinals. If one team looks dominant in there, I would put my bet that team is going to end up winning the national championship. But that's going to be a battle. If that's how it ends up in the semis, Georgia, Kirby Smart, I hate ever going against Kirby Smart because I think he is probably the best current head coach in football right now. The ways that he has his team ready to go, developed. Alabama put up -3 rushing yards against them in the SEC championship. That defense is also unreal. Oregon, I like Oregon's odds. As an Oregon fan, I'm looking forward to them hopefully dominating James Madison. And I think Texas Tech is a great football team, and maybe they have an opportunity. But I do like that Oregon, if they take care of business against James Madison, they take on Texas Tech in the quarterfinals. I think that sets them up for success to make it to the semis. They still got to win, and we've seen Texas Tech is the real deal. And if Oregon wins that one, they take on Indiana in the semis. It's tough to beat a team twice. Indiana definitely got the best of them in that first game, but it's hard to beat a team twice, and I'm not sure if Indiana is going to be able to do that. And I think Dan Lanning, it's easier to respond from a loss, knowing here's the things that we could do better. Well, if you win, your mindset is, all right, we're better than them. We did a lot of things right. It's easier to go back to the drawing board, go back to the film room and say, here's what we did wrong. This is what we can do better. We're going to prep better for this opponent next time. Hopefully, Oregon pulls that one out against first James Madison, Texas Tech, Indiana. They play a national championship against Georgia, Ohio State. I love Oregon. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if they have it in them to win this national championship this year. But it's going to be an exciting round of playoffs. I think it's going to be super electric, and we're going to have a lot of fun games. Maybe not in this first round. We'll maybe have one or two with Alabama, Oklahoma, Miami, Texas A&M. But I definitely think that these quarterfinal matchups are going to be so fun to watch, and I think they're going to be very evenly matched in these games. But with that being said, I'm out of here. Go watch some college football. We got some on right now. I think bowl games have just begun, and then we have Army-Navy coming up at 2 o'clock. That's always a fun one to watch. And then a fun bowl game, we got Washington versus Boise State for the nightcap. That'll be a good one. 2 West Coast schools going at it. So don't go anywhere. Go watch some college football. We'll have some college football on the airwaves starting at 1 o'clock. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And as always, go Big Red.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS